Hi all, welcome back to Hibisicus Hatchery. So today is just a catch up chat to keep you up to date what's going on around here. Well, the last couple of weeks I've been a bit snuffly and not really wanted to do too many videos because it doesn't sound too good to you guys, I'm sorry. But I thought today we'd have a quick catch up. So what's going on? It's coming up to end of spring, beginning of summer for us. So we're out of the dangerous part sort of for us here in Auckland is actually after winter and the coming out of brumation. Here it can have very nice warm hot days and then quite cold nights and also rain, all ups and downs. But who have we got here? So right there we have the first of our progeny ever. So this is Twinkle, and as you can see he's pretty damn perfect, aren't you, bud? We're a big fan. Twinkle, you can easily see that he's a boy. He's got a very long tail. The other thing is here, if you look right there, there's a lot wider bit right there. So that's a lot wider, and you go, well, what can we see? You know, we can't see any difference between other tortoises. So here we go here. And technically speaking, the wonderful, the beautiful Phoebe, I'll just put you down because you're all scratchy and rocky. I'm not putting them down into just our front yard. He's still too small to be anywhere near Punga. He's not interested in anything to do with Punga and fighting or anything like that. So he's just content in hanging out with Tank, his month younger brother, and the young girls. So we have Phoebe, I'll put him down here. And Phoebe, I perceive as almost being perfection. So Phoebe's only ever spent her first winter inside. And spent every other winter outside since then. And how old are you now? 3? Coming out 3. So we don't grow them fast. They aren't excessively heated. They're living in conditions like at the moment it's highs are 20, 27 today, maybe slightly higher. But and that's sort of part and parcel what I'm sort of trying to get to you with indoor versus outdoor keeping. This table is actually, funnily enough, about the size of the recommendation of a minimum size, well, the size that you need for a tortoise. And that, yeah, by all means, from maybe up to sort of your size at about 6 years of age, and you're not you're one of the faster growing, because I think that's because you're a boy. Oh, you just can't stop yourself, can you? Just a little bit of skin there, you just wanna, I'll just give you tickles. That's how I'll just give you tickles, and I'll see if I can rub it off. So yeah, a lot of it is, the big thing really is just to enjoy your keeping of your tortoises. Try and get it correct. We're just cracking into the most perfect summer. Oh, that's marigold. So behind me here, I don't know if you can see, but there's Zeus over there and Daisy side by side. Male Greek and female Hermann's. Oh no! How do we get away from them not interbreeding and not fighting and things like that? Zeus has never really been a big fighter since we've had him, so that's been a good thing. Fred used to give him a rack up from time to time, and that was yeah, that wasn't very often. They're the two males that we got together. So Zeus has always been, as I know it, in a group with two female Greeks and a Hermann and a male Hermann and a female Hermann, Daisy and Fred. So now we have Punga, and he's was a lot younger than Fred, but he tried it on a few times, you know, just a little bit of nipping and trying to show his dominance towards Zeus. And then one day Zeus got him in the hutch, the back of the hutch. I was hearing this knock, knock, and I was like, oh, better go check that out. And that's the big thing, is if you keep eye on them, you know, they do need to have good space, especially adults. You know, you're not like Punga is at least 2.5 times the size of Twinkle here, and he's how old is Punga? Punga's 15 years of age, so he's still quite young. He will get a bit bigger, but not majorly bigger. I'm not bringing him over here. But yeah, and that's the sort of big thing. If you keep them in confined spaces, you're going to have more problems ultimately. It's sort of, I know this is hard for a lot of you that live in cities and apartments. They're difficult pets to keep inside. Then, you know, you got to do things like make sure your UV is always working correctly. Your same as your heat. Not that you need heat all the time. Daisy behind me is now currently, it's 24, 25 degrees or whatever Celsius in the shade, maybe up to 26, but I think Daisy and Zeus are sitting in the shade. We're not even midday, we're sort of 11 o'clock. They're not out basking, they've already done that, they did that hours ago. So they will, you know, they're up to heat. I'm really hoping Marigold's, it's not looking that exciting, is it, Marigold? What are you up to, girl? So this is great stuff. These are brilliant. So that's also another thing I sort of want to get chatting to you. These are really wonderful creatures that we have. And to be able to keep them and raise them looking like her is a great thing, but you don't heat them all day long. You don't do intense heat. As you can see, I have a hat on, well, hibiscus for hibiscus hatcheries, cheesy, but I'm underneath the umbrella as well. We're hitting in over 10s, and it's not even summer yet. We're only in spring, so the sun gets closer to the earth in New Zealand. We have a massive hole. So on the Ferguson scale of the UV meter, we go up into the 14s. We go over double the amount. You've just, yeah. We have a bay tree that I sort of are doing topiary on it. And I've just got a blackbird nesting in it, so I can't trim it up. But yeah, so this is our beautiful and wonderful Phoebe, and I think she's, yeah, you don't get much better for a female Hermann's, I don't believe. It's quite interesting seeing she's been outside most of her life. It'd be very argumentative, say, if there's any pyramiding there. It's almost a perfect shell, isn't it? So, and Punga, and Twinkle's the same. He was kept inside. How long did you stay inside for? Maybe nearly 2 years. That was right at the beginning of us. Look, don't forget, we've always had tortoises, the adults, outside. Within a month or so, I built the big hutch. So you are a neat. So technically speaking, obviously, with the name Twinkle, Twinkle is Storm's first. Aren't you, bud? You're a good looking tortoise too, but at some stage we're going to have to figure, probably in the next few years, where to place you guys, eh? So we might have to just keep you separated from Panga, and we might even have to separate you from the girls. We'll just keep an eye on that one, because they're a little bit too small, aren't they? Might be just, I don't know if you'll be even interested. That was one thing that's fascinating with Zeus and the big Greek girls. He didn't seem to be interested in mating with them when we first got him for quite a few years, until I think Daisy came of age. So yeah, it's just a cruise. I'm really grateful for all you guys subscribing. We don't sprinkle. Oh, that's the other thing. I just sort of go through. I know it's really difficult trying to find consistent and correct information on the internet these days. And yeah, so, but we can, by proof, you can see, we try and keep in a very naturalistic sort of way, and we're very fortunate to. Besides, the humidity is a bit high here, comparison to the actual areas in the world that these creatures come from. But all in all, sort of the most populous location in the world for the Hermanns is very similar temperature-wise. Humidity, you have very little control over it, and it, besides being too humid and causing things like shell rot, dryness is difficult. Well, for us it's real. We don't live in a desert, but it is actually extremely difficult to get. So 50% humidity is actually really dry, and and there is no point with Mediterraneans like the Hermanns, the Russians, the Greeks, marginated, all of those species. You shouldn't be needing to add any type of humidity in your environment. And I would, if you're keeping them inside, that's probably really detriment to your own health. And so just be careful on that. In saying that, this is the reason why you need to know your species, and that's why it's real simple here. We only have 2 species of Mediterraneans. We only have Greeks and Hermanns, Eastern Hermanns. We only have 1 species of box turtles, which is the 3-toe. And that's another thing. And there's certain really, really reputable people on YouTube and stuff, which are showing basic setups for hatchlings. And I personally think that's, we're breeders too. That's probably trying to start the education off with these animals. Having box turtles in a purely aquatic environment, unless they're, I think it's the Mexican variety, as I don't live in Mexico, it's the Cohilan. We don't even have that in zoos here. I think it's the Cohilan. They're almost a purely aquatic box turtle, but it's swampland. Like, it's not deep water. They float. They can bilge themselves and dive, as I understand. But when we've had our box turtles in the pond, they just pop up like little ping pong balls. It's pretty cute. But and that's eventually where they're going to go when they get big enough. I've still got so much stuff to do. If you've stumbled onto this little chat because you're wanting to learn a little bit about indoor keeping, that's cool. I would always have a T5, ultimately a fair distance. Oh, but Mark, I want to do it all as one. You can't. The more tech the more timers, the more heat sources, the more UV, well, not necessarily the more UV, but the adequate coverage of UV. Dark, dingy little environments is not where they come from. So one little spotlight, and whew, yeah, I can't, I'm not a scientist. I'm not one of these people who have done all these tests and stuff like that, but it has been quite interesting to see on some of the feedback. I don't know if it's scaremongering or not, but halogens can, if they're a UV halogen, they may emit UVC. Well, that's a short distance radiation, but that possibly could make your tortoises blind, and many other issues. Kill all their natural bacteria off them, and many things. I'm not a vet either, so I'm not going to go into that. But I thoroughly recommend Arcadia bulbs, Arcadia, the new Lumini system, because you can get really geeky, and I really suggest getting geeky. And I'll probably try and tie this up. I think I'm getting a warning about storage, so I really recommend getting geeky and getting the Luminis, because then you can actually mimic the intensity of the UV during the day. So it peaks in the middle. I've had arguments about that with, well, not even arguments, discussions, let's say, with admin on friendly groups. And these friendly groups, you've got to be very wary of the information that they hold on to and haven't evolved, especially with the latest studies where, there's guys out doing field research, and regularly the UV in the Mediterranean is down in the threes. We don't even have that. We'd have to mesh the whole property to be able to mimic sort of UVD intensity. UV is such a hard discussion, because there's no really true and honest studies on how much exposure is enough per day, per month, per week. So that's sort of why you have it with, in the old days, you'd sort of have it on 12 hours a day. Well, now with the Lumini system, you can mimic that to full intensity during the day. If you really wanted to, you could actually make it go up and down, so sort of mimicking cloud cover. Many tricky things you can do that with. The heat, these are the best. These will suffice, but really and truly, the deep projection bulbs are the same thing, next level. With any heating, make sure it's on a timer, and I recommend these guys, Hibisicus. I have no financial gains or benefits of recommending Hibisicus or Arcadia, and even so, these lampshades were gifted to me. There's another brand on that too. Great holders. You take your decisions on what brands that you want to choose. I'm not here to do that. I recommend what we recommend, because really Arcadia's been a really good company for decades with my experiences. So that's all it is. There's nothing more, nothing less. I get no financial benefits from it. Getting back to it. So what do I plan to do around here in the future? I still got to fix the, I'll do a clip for you, is making the waterfall. I have to, it just sort of sitting there on a couple of bricks, and then some bits of second, offcuts of the artificial rocks and stuff. So I'm going to all incorporate that and attach it together at some stage when I get a little bit of time. It's motorbike season now, so Storm and I have been enjoying our trips to school. It was a bit of a long one, but yeah, I got a whole bowl of strawberries, strawberry season too. So the other thing is with brumation and indoor keeping, this is for you guys on the other side of the earth. Potentially you might be technically already missing it, as I understand, depending on where you live. What we do with the hatchlings, and this is all I can, we always keep the hatchlings inside for the first winter. Greek spur thighs, for me personally, it's the Greek spur thighs, they hatch out way too close to winter. So, but with the Hermanns, we keep them inside as well. And what we do is that from whenever they hatch, which is nearly peak summer, we gradually adjust the light every couple of weeks. Have preset Bluetooth settings in the Lumini system to mimic the intensity and the length of days in the months towards the end of autumn, which is also, middle to late autumn, which is the same as middle to late spring, and then that's where we keep it at. So, and we keep the heat in the actual shed doesn't go any lower than 16 degrees. Are you up to, Daisy? You come a bit closer and I'll, come here. Daisy, you gonna come over? You wanna come and see your babies? Probably not. Come on. You gonna come over? Just give me a wink. She's generally not the one. She's right there. She's generally not the one to come for tickles or cuddles. Ah, marigold. It's a marigold after getting me all excited. So I don't know. I haven't had eggs from her yet, and I haven't had her x-rayed. I probably could do that to see if she's actually got any in her. She's of good weight. She's now currently the second heaviest. What do you reckon? Do you reckon I can get her? Come on, Daisy. I'll grab Daisy, and we'll have a little quick story with Daisy too. Ooh. So Daisy was our first mum, weren't you, Daisy? And it was from Daisy. So I've spoken to a few other breeders and stuff like that. Firstly, Daisy, when she did start laying eggs, didn't dig holes and just drop the random one every so often. We also had dogs back then, so I don't know if that made much of a difference. They didn't really care what these guys did. But Daisy is a glorious tortoise. And she's the mum to both. Oh no, she's not the mum. Jilly's the mum of Phoebe. And you're the mum of Twinkle. And they have different fathers, don't they? Phoebe's father is Punga. And Twinkle's father is Fred. So they will be another creep that we have down. So the three sisters and the two brothers that are completely different bloodlines. But I don't know if I'll be here. If it takes as long as you took, who knows? I might not be around. But that might have a lot to do with us. You are actually very heavy at the moment. I do have the actual bucket, but the scales are over there. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for subscribing. It's going along quite cool. Hope you enjoyed this clip. I'll be keeping a good eye on Marigold and Daisy probably another 2 weeks away, eh? So, and then in about a month's time we might have some eggs laying. So, eggs hatching. Well, you'll definitely be within a month. In a couple of weeks you'll be laying some eggs, won't you? I hope that was an interesting little clip. Daisy, when we got her, she must have been probably 10 or maybe 10. She already had these little lumps, and over the time you can actually see how smooth the sides of, and that's the big thing. If your tortoise, you've got a tortoise, a rescue tortoise, if you're so lucky to be in a country we don't get rescue tortoises, that has been overheated, does have pyramiding, don't stress about it. It's quite a good way of being able to take them apart. But if you keep them in naturalistic in an outside environment, or a very high level, very cool sort of indoor environment, the natural slow growth, you don't want to have peaking at 35 degrees every day, all day long sort of things. We don't even, outside we peak very rarely at 35, and so does the places in I think Croatia and so forth. That's the peak of summer, and these guys won't be in the sun, they won't be basking under it. So just to help you all, these sort of informations, our heat for the hatchlings is set at 29 degrees on the Hibisicus controller, and that generally means it will get up to sort of 32 with the the heat building up. Then we have an air conditioner in that shed that actually brings it down from 36 odd degrees down to 34, so they're never getting way too hot. To give you some, I think it might even go cooler than that, and we don't let the actual shed get any cooler than 16 degrees overnight. But as the lovely Daisy here really wants to get down, we will love yous and leave yous. Thank you so much. It's really cool that everybody's watching this. I'm sort of looking like Dana White maybe with my unshavenness. I'll have to shave tomorrow, I've got to go out. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.